Hey man, my name's Gab. I don't do dine-ins at Pizza Hut no more. And my story will explain why. It was a long day of work, and me and my colleagues decided to dine in at Pizza Hut for dinner after office hours. We drove to a Pizza Hut near our office, parked our car, then went inside. We chose the seats to the furthest, away from the crowd, just so we can have a little extra privacy for ourselves. After sitting down, a waitress came over to our table and brought us the menu. She said she'll come back when we have selected our order. We browsed the menu and decided to get a pepperoni and Hawaiian pizza. So I raised my hand signaling the waiter close by to come over to place our order. He came over and took our order, then left. We started telling each other stories, mostly about work and how hard the day was. A few minutes later, the waitress who handed us the menu came and asked us if we are ready to order. We told her we already did, from the guy waiter a couple of minutes ago. She looked confused but smiled and said okay, then politely took the menus back with her and left. We continued telling each other stories, but after a few minutes, we noticed that our order is taking too long. So I took the initiative to go to the counter and follow up our order. He said he will check, and after going to the kitchen, the cashier said that we didn't have any order placed. That is absurd. I raised my voice and I told the cashier that a man took our order several minutes ago. It was 2 16 inches of pizza, Hawaiian and pepperoni. I was hungry and pissed off at the same time at this point, so I called the manager. The manager calmly asked me about the situation and I explained to him what happened. I explained to him that one of his employees took our order but didn't place it in the system and that we were already starving. He called the waitress and asked me if she's the one who took our order. I replied no, it was a guy. He asked me to describe the guy that took our order. I replied with sure, tall and skinny guy, bald, pale skin, thick lips, and weird eyebrows. As I did, the manager's face looked confused. He pulled out his phone and showed me a photo, then asked me if it was the guy who took our order. I replied yes. That's impossible, the manager said as his face turned pale. He told me that the guy I'm referring to no longer works there, because the waiter I'm referring to passed away from leukemia several months ago. This creeped me out a lot, and my colleagues felt the same after I told them. After this, we decided to do takeout and eat by the car instead. As we were about to drive home, I took one last glance at the store, and I saw the waiter who took our order standing and staring at our direction. My name is Thomas, and here's my story. I work as a delivery guy for GrabFood, a delivery app operating in Southeast Asia that allows users to order food from their favorite restaurants and make payments through the app. It's not always an easy job, but it pays the bills. There is one delivery I couldn't forget, and this is not because of the food. Let me explain. It was a cold and foggy night when a Pizza Hut order came in for a customer. Like always, I went to the store and waited for the food to be prepared. After I was called to the cashier, I grabbed the pepperoni pizza and soda, rode my bike, and started driving to the customer's house. As I drove up to the house, I noticed that it was an old, large house with a strange design and definitely needed some cleaning. I parked my bike, grabbed the food, and walked up to the front gate. I yelled GrabFood for Paz, not her real name. Before I could ring the doorbell, an elderly woman walked towards the gate to receive the order. She was probably in her late 50s. She asked me how much was it, and I responded, "It's already paid via the Grab app." She told me to leave the pizza and soda on the hood of the car while she reached into her pocket and grabbed some money to hand over to me as a tip. Following her instructions, I placed both the pizza and soda on top of the hood. I took the 20, placed it in my pocket, and then rode my bike away. After around 25 minutes, I received a notification from the app about the customer complaining about me leaving the pizza on the car without even ringing their doorbell. According to the customer support handling the case, the customer said that they wouldn't even know that the pizza had arrived if they hadn't checked outside. And I thought it was strange. I was certain that I followed the instructions given to me by the customer. As I reached into my pocket to check the tip that the customer gave me, surprisingly, it wasn't there. So either I dropped it somewhere and delivered the food to some Karen, or I was talking to a ghost the entire time. As a customer service representative for a popular pizza chain, I had heard my fair share of bizarre requests, but nothing could have prepared me for the call I have received on a quiet Sunday evening. "Hello, thank you for calling Pizza Hut. How can I assist you today?" I greeted the caller with my usual professional tone.
I would like to place an order for a pizza, please.
The caller replied in a deep monotone voice. "Absolutely. What toppings would you like on your pizza?" I asked, grabbing my pen and notepad. "Human flesh, please," the caller replied calmly. My heart skipped a bit as I processed what the caller had just said. Surely this was a prank call, or I just heard him wrong. I took a deep breath and decided to ask him to repeat his order. "I'm sorry, sir, could you please repeat that? I didn't quite catch what you said," I said, hoping that I just misheard what the customer requested. "I said, I want human flesh on my pizza, please," the caller repeated, his voice devoid of any emotion. I felt a wave of nausea wash over me. Was this some kind of a sick joke, or was this person serious? I hesitated for a moment before responding. "I'm sorry, sir, we do not use human flesh for toppings for our pizzas. We have a variety of other toppings to choose from, such as pepperoni, mushrooms, pineapples, bell peppers, and onions. Would you like any of those?" I suggested, hoping to steer the conversation in a more normal direction, but the caller remained persistent. "No, I want human flesh, please." I felt a chill run down my spine. This caller was definitely not joking. My mind raced as I tried to figure out what to do next. Should I call my supervisor? Should I hang up? I decided to keep the caller on the line while I figure out my next move. "I'm sorry, sir, I cannot fulfill that request. It is not only illegal but also immoral," I stated firmly, hoping that the caller would back down. "I understand your concerns, but it's important to me that the pizza has human flesh. It's for a special occasion," the caller replied, his tone unwavering. I wanted to hang up, but hanging up on a customer could cost me my job. "Sir, I'm sorry I cannot fulfill your request. It goes against our company's policies and is illegal. Also, I would like to remind you that all calls are monitored and recorded." "Thank you for your time," the caller responded before hanging up.
Hello Daetro, Ramon here. Have you ever had a job that made you question your sanity? Well, that's how I felt when I experienced this. I work as a service crew at Pizza Hut. My job is to take orders and serve customers with a smile. It was a slow night. There were 4 tables filled with families and friends enjoying their meals. As the night wore on, the restaurant slowly emptied out until it was just my colleague and me. We began to clean up the tables and put away the chairs, getting ready to close up for the night. But as we were finishing up, I started to feel like we were being watched. I tried to brush off the feeling of unease, telling myself that it was just fatigue. As I was wiping the last of the tables, I heard a faint whisper coming from behind me. It was so quiet that I couldn't make out what it was saying. I turned around to face the direction of the whisper, but no one was there. I thought it was Mark playing pranks on me, but Mark was in the kitchen cleaning up. This creeped me out and sent shivers down my spine. I walked towards the front door, locked it, and flipped the sign from open to closed. That's when I saw a child trying to walk up the door. I pointed my finger to the closed side, but she continued walking towards me. As she moved closer, I noticed that her skin was pale, and her white dress was what dead people normally wear in funerals. By the time she was in the front of the glass door, I heard her say, "I would like to order, please." I was so creeped out by her appearance that I pointed to the closed sign and said, "Sorry honey, we're closed. Come back tomorrow, okay?" Then I turned around immediately. As I turned around, I was given the worst shock of my life. The girl was standing inside the restaurant, looking and staring at me. My vision suddenly got blurred, and my legs became jelly. I felt a sudden surge of warmth, then everything blacked out. The next thing I knew, I was lying on the floor with Mark beside me. He said that he saw me flip the sign to close, then started talking to the door, turned around, and fainted. I guess Mark never saw the little girl, making me question, was that real? Or was it me going insane?